Um, all right. So, hi, once again, Kim Smith here with Adventures in Coaching. And hi, everyone. It's great to see you again. And today I'm going to be continuing with my three-part series on how to make change and reaching your New Year's goals, or really any goals for that matter. And last week, if you just for a quick review, we talked a lot about, or I talked a lot about how you may have a New Year's goal, but sometimes and oftentimes actually we don't reach those New Year's goals for various reasons. But one of the biggest reasons that I see is that the goal is not actually tied to anything. It's not tied to your bigger purpose, to your life purpose, or to your bigger life goals. And therefore, when it gets hard and you just give up. And because a lot of times, like I said, you just don't have something to tie it back to and say, like, oh yeah, that's the real reason I'm trying to attain this goal. So today, in my second part of the three-part series, I am talking about some other things that can also affect goals. And those are your energy levels and the gremlins. And that may sound strange, but I'm going to explain that a little bit further. So, often when we get stuck and we're trying to make change, maybe you're stuck for just a few hours or a day, or, sometimes even years. People get stuck wanting to make a change, but they just don't do it because they either can't see the benefit or it's just too scary. It's too hard, and the self-doubt creeps in, and it's really hard to maintain any sort of energy towards that direction. So when that happens, a lot of times we look at how someone is showing up energetically, and what does that mean? So in the core energy coaching model, in which I was trained, we look at 7 levels of energy through an assessment called the Energy Leadership Index. And it's a powerful assessment that reveals really where you're showing up energetically in your life normally, and then where you show up energetically when you're under stress or you're triggered by something that causes stress. So just for simplicity's sake, today I'm not going to obviously go into this leadership index. Suffice it to say, it's available if you're interested in learning more. But there are 2 levels of what we call catabolic energy. And rather than saying negative energy and positive energy, we say catabolic energy and anabolic energy. And catabolic energy is a type of energy that feels very draining, very restrictive. And, it's the type of energy that shows up in the form of maybe depression, or, maybe you're feeling like a victim, or you just want to give up on a situation. Maybe you're feeling hopeless, or like that there may be a lack of choice. Also, a lot of fear will crop up around levels 1 and 2 catabolic energy. And, everybody experiences this type of energy from time to time. I mean, it's totally normal, right? We all go through phases, but some of us can really get stuck there. And so, if for instance, if you're really struggling to meet your goals and it is really stressing you out, it could be that you're stuck in that kind of catabolic or draining energy. And it becomes very self-defeating, and it's hard to stay motivated. And like I said, it really creates a feeling of being stuck in a situation. And as coaches, as a coach, I have tools to help identify what is going on there energetically a lot more specifically. Like, we can really drill down into it and take a look at it. And there's often what comes up when we drill down more into catabolic energy is that, underneath that energy, there is a root cause. And this is what I call finding our gremlins. And the gremlins are, sort of like what it sounds like, but, they're there kind of itching at you, but you don't always see them. They're kind of hiding off in the corner. And they're really these negative, self-sabotaging small voices in our heads that constantly tell us that, we can't achieve a goal. And it may sound something like, hey, I can't really do this. I'm not worthy. I doubt my abilities. What are people going to think of me if I follow my dream? And, maybe even I don't deserve it. Or, why me? Why can't I get this done? So the gremlins are there. They come in all shapes and forms and sizes and all of that. But a lot of it comes down to, the idea of I'm not good enough. And a lot of them just sort of boil down to that, or I'm not worthy. So, in terms of really looking at the gremlins, I mean, that's something that, yes, you can do it on your own, but it's also really great to look at those with somebody sort of guiding you through the process so that you can get to the root to it, address it, and accept it. But looking at it a little further, that some of those gremlins can be traced back to our childhood. It could be something that, happened to us that we're hanging on to, or it was the messages that we heard. Maybe our parents talked to us in a certain way that didn't, feel really emotionally supportive. And, these things, it could be teachers and coaches. These things are there, and they can take a really long time to kind of uncover unless you're really willing to look at it. But at any rate, and I've worked with a lot of people that once they are aware of their gremlins and that source has sort of been revealed, that's when acceptance can happen and the healing process can begin. So I highly recommend, if you're struggling with some goals and or anything in your life where you're having trouble moving forward, or maybe it's even around, communication with others and, standing up for yourself in situations. It may be that there are some gremlins that are holding you back, and that is showing up in this catabolic energy. So, the gifts of really recognizing that energy, one of the really cool things is that we're able to then start switching to a more anabolic energetic state. And there are 5 levels of anabolic energy versus 2 levels of catabolic energy. So there are a lot of phases that we can go through and recognize and kind of like have goals as to how we want to show up in situations. So, and this is where, if you are able to shift into this anabolic energetic state, this is where all things become possible. Creativity is awakened. Maybe new opportunities become, you become aware of how to work through a situation differently and looking at things more opportunistically versus, oh, this is such a drag, it's so hard to move forward. So the solutions really become a lot easier to see. This is where we have a lot of growth in all parts of our lives if we're working on ourselves, especially when we're trying to move from that more catabolic or restrictive energetic state to a more anabolic and positive energetic state. So, the idea here is that you get unstuck and you're able to move forward. So, that is the